10. The Perfect Neighbor, 2025. Florida is known for employing a stand your ground law, a legal policy that provides residents the option of employing lethal force rather than retreating as a means of self-defense. The law has proven controversial in the past, but in 2023, it was tested when 5-year-old Ajike Owens was shot through a locked door while waiting to speak with her neighbor. The Perfect Neighbor gives an unvarnished accounting of the events leading up to and following Owens' murder using body cam footage collected during the police's prior visits to the killer's house. What emerges is a documentary free from editorializing. The story is told by Ajike, her neighbors, the police investigating the conflicts, and the killer herself. The events in the film are hard to stomach, but the systemic issues the documentary highlights make The Perfect Neighbor a must-watch. 9. Our Father, 2022. As far as true crime documentaries go, this one shows how dreams can actually become the stuff of nightmares without any murder or gory mayhem. Our Father details the shock and horror several people experienced when they learned they are half-siblings fathered by Donald Klein, a popular fertility doctor in Indianapolis who used his own sperm to impregnate dozens of patients without their knowledge that he was the donor. The film takes us through the family's discoveries and reveals the most unsettling truth of all. There's little, if any, accountability for this kind of fertility fraud. 8. Making a Murderer, 2015-2018. Over 2 seasons, viewers are walked through the events that landed Stephen Avery in prison for nearly 20 years before he was eventually exonerated, only to end up back behind bars once accused of murdering a young photographer on his property. However, things are not as straightforward as they seem, with the docuseries generating plenty of publicity and calls to release Avery, all while Wisconsin officials cry foul over its depiction of their work. 7. The Monster of Wall Street, 2023. Chronicling the crimes of disgraced financier Bernie Madoff. The 4-part docuseries details how he pulled off one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in history, taking Wall Street for a ride we'll be referencing for decades to come. Using interviews with victims, former employees, whistleblowers, investigators, and never-before-seen footage of depositions given by Madoff himself, it's clear that he's a master of manipulation, though the filmmakers point to the failure of regulators to act on the many red flags they saw along the way. 6. Lover Stalker Killer, 2024. Criminal cases don't get much more diabolical than the one portrayed in Netflix's 2024 documentary Lover Stalker Killer. A romantic tryst that descends into a life-ruining nightmare that will have you seriously debating deleting your dating profiles, Lover Stalker Killer is a true crime story that checks off every box in the genre. Without delving too far into the specifics, the documentary chronicles the terror inflicted by one person upon their former romantic partner after the relationship fails. The events unfolded in Nebraska during the 2010 seconds, and if you haven't heard the story of Kari Farver before, don't Google, just turn on Lover Stalker Killer and prepare for a wild and heartbreaking ride. 5. Long Shot, 2017. If you have 40 minutes, you have enough time to watch one of the wildest true crime stories on Netflix. Back in 2003, Juan Catalan was arrested for a murder he did not commit. Catalan claimed he was at a Dodgers game when the crime occurred, and Catalan's lawyer was determined to prove his client's innocence using footage from a TV show that was filming at the stadium that same day. The TV show in question? Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm. Long Shot is the story of how a sitcom saved an innocent man's life. It's the kind of premise you'd expect to see as a storyline on Curb, only this is real-life, high-stakes stuff. 4. Eep Sweet, Pray and Obey, 2022. This isn't just another wild cult story. Keep sweet. Pray and Obey documents the meteoric rise and fall of Warren Jeffs, the leader and self-proclaimed prophet in the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and how he manipulated young girls into an abusive polygamous relationship with him. Directors Rachel Dretzin and Grace McNally interviewed survivors to get to the heart of what happened to so many women who thought they were following a holy path, and what it took for them to finally summon the courage to escape. 3. Filthy Rich, 2020. Based on the 2016 book of the same name by James Patterson, this docuseries details the criminal case against convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Over 4 episodes, Filthy Rich explains how the billionaire leveraged his wealth, power, and connections to continue committing these crimes for years. Featuring interviews with survivors, including Maria Farmer and the late Virginia Giuffre, former staff members, and law enforcement, it's a harrowing tale you think you've seen play out in the news. But trust us, this docuseries reveals much more of the story. 2. Icarus, 2017. This fascinating sports political documentary is like following a thread that gradually reveals itself to be a tangled mess. Director Brian Fogel unwinds this story in a gripping fashion, investigating illegal steroid use among athletes in Russia by developing a relationship with the head of an anti-doping lab in the country. The scientist, Grigory Rodchenkov, then drops a bombshell about his involvement in a doping program that allowed the country to evade detection in the 2014 Winter Olympics. This revelation soon becomes an international scandal, resulting in threats to Rodchenkov's life. The propulsive doc rightfully won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature, with Fogel stating in his acceptance speech, "We hope Icarus is a wake-up call, yes, about Russia, but more than that, about the importance of telling the truth now more than ever." 1. The Hatchet-Wielding Hitchhiker, 2023. After a video of Caleb Kai McGilvery animatedly recounting a crime he witnessed and stopped with his hatchet while hitchhiking in California in 2013 went viral, the young man became a national sensation. However, as the overnight spotlight drew cheers from admirers of his heroism across the country, it also caught the attention of authorities in New Jersey, who thought Kai may be responsible for a murder on the East Coast. This true crime documentary shows how the media's quick obsession with the Canadian fueled his rise to fame and played a major part in his 2019 murder trial. Even if you haven't seen the video, you might have seen a meme, song, or another piece of pop culture referencing Kai's memorable reenactment of "Smash, Smash, Smash." And the Hatchet-Wielding Hitchhiker does a great job of telling the much larger, darker story. Don't forget to subscribe and share.